Is Bo Nix showing the early signs of a sophomore slump? This is your Denver Sports Daily for September 17th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
Sophomore slump, spooky. We're almost near Halloween. That's a scary conversation to have. And Bo Nix, of course, he's going into his second season. That conversation's going to happen, especially when you play week 1 with the stats that he did. Week 2, he had a better week. However, stats don't lie. And overall, Nix has started the season kind of slow. But is it too early to tell if he's having a sophomore slump? After 2 weeks, is that too early? Yeah, that's too early to talk about if he's actually having a sophomore slump. But is he showing the early signs to do it? You know, last year, Bo Nix, very similar to this year, started kind of slow. And of course, we know how slow it was last year. People were expecting him to hit the ground running. Everybody was saying how NFL ready he looked, and he wasn't right away, right off the bat. But no problem with that. It's okay, because they ended up making it to the playoffs, and he ended up being second in Rookie of the Year voting. So that didn't really matter. Last year in his first 2 games, Nix threw for 384 yards, but 0 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, completing 59% of his passes. That wasn't great. He didn't end up throwing his first touchdown, if you remember, until week 4. So he started very slow. So, of course, anything compared to that last year is better. But then you got this year. You know, he has more touchdowns. He's thrown 4 touchdowns already, 3 of those coming in this last week's game. But he also has 3 interceptions. Not sure there's 1 less interception, but 3 interceptions through the first 2 games is not great. And then 382 yards. That's less yards than last season when he didn't have a single touchdown until week 4. But he is completing 67% of his passes, so he's being more efficient. However, it's not leading to a higher level of success like you're seeing with other quarterbacks around the league. I mean, and especially because you're going up against the Chargers this weekend. Look at what Justin Herbert's doing. I mean, he's having an outstanding season. I believe he has 5 touchdowns and then 550 yards through his first 2 games. That's great. I mean, Justin Herbert's looking like a front runner for MVP right now, one of them at least. But Bo Nix is going to have to kick it up a notch. I mean, this is a team that was ready to go to the Super Bowl, to win the division. And if you can't hit the ground running, and Sean Payton said that right away in the offseason. He said, we want to start the season hot. We want to start the season hot, get some wins where you should get wins. And the Colts game, you ended up losing. Now, sure, it was only by 1 point. You beat the Tennessee Titans, but hey, you got to hit the ground running. And Bo Nix needs to look like he did at the end of last season. He needs to pick up exactly where he left off, and that is not happening. Now, there is something to be said about the competition last year, though. The Broncos dropped their first 2 games of the season to the Seahawks and the Steelers, who are both arguably better teams than the Titans and the Colts. And, you know, they split their 2 games so far this season with the Titans and the Colts. They couldn't end up beating the Colts. And that's not all on Bo Nix. It's not all on Bo Nix at all. It's a lot on the defense, you know, especially in that Colts game. You allow them to score on 6 of their 8 drives. Yeah, you're going to end up losing it. So it's not all Bo Nix's fault. But the early signs of a sophomore slump, you can sniff them out pretty quickly. And Bo Nix needs to alleviate that right away. He needs to start getting his guys more involved, and especially his top 2 guys, his Courtland Sutton and Evan Ingram. You got to get them involved because they have been nowhere to be found in the past couple weeks. I mean, sure, Courtland Sutton had an okay game against the Titans, but where's Evan Ingram? Where were these guys last week? It was crazy to see how these guys are supposed to be the real receiving threats for Bo Nix, and they just have been completely shut down. Now, you know, you're looking all around, especially comparing back to last season with Bo Nix and how he looked at the beginning of the year. And now the Broncos didn't end up winning their first game last year until week 3 against the Buccaneers, who looked and still do look as a playoff contender in the NFL. So Nix still has time to improve. He does. It's his second year. He's played 19, 20 games in the NFL. He's got time. This is not something that needs to happen right away. He's had an okay season so far, but he needs to tighten up, slow himself down, find his guys, Cortland Sutton and Evan Ingram, find them and go out and succeed. And that has to happen in this upcoming game against the Chargers. He's got to ball out. And if he does, he will immediately put these conversations that we're having here to bed for good. And he will. I mean, I've got faith that Bo Nix can go out there and put a beating to the Chargers. I really do. I mean, this is a guy who went to the playoffs last year and looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, one of the top 10 even. People were rating him in the top 10. I had seen that. So he can go out and do it. He just needs a little bit of time. This is something that we may get used to with Bo Nix going to the future. You know, starting the season a little bit slower, but then picking it up in the latter half. Now moving on, Aaron Gordon, Mr. Nugget himself, he had some real high praise for Nikola Jokic. Yesterday, Aaron Gordon turned 30. Congratulations. Happy birthday to Aaron Gordon. And to celebrate, he joined NBA Today to speak about Nikola Jokic. I mean, that's how I would celebrate my birthday, joining NBA Today to speak about one of the best basketball players of all time, the best basketball player in the current NBA. And he spoke just about how good of a player Nikola Jokic is. I mean, he spoke highly about Jokic, and he highlighted one of the more impressive plays last year. If you all remember, when Aaron Gordon slammed a dunk as time expired against the Clippers, getting a first buzzer-beating dunk in NBA history. He said, quote, "He's amazing to get to play around one of the best players, if not the best player of all time. The gravity that he has, the tip dunk I caught, it's the gravity he has. He's shooting a one-legged fadeaway runner, and everyone thinks it's going in. I think it's going in, but I'm just trying to be in my spot, do what I do. He makes it click. We have a great understanding of each other on and off the floor. So you guys are going to see that flourish. Clearly, he's teeing everybody up to see a great season between these two this year. And really, how could you not expect that? Aaron Gordon just coming in, when he was traded to the Nuggets from the Orlando Magic, you saw something completely new that Nikola Jokic hadn't got to play with before, and that is a lob threat. That is a true lob threat, and Nikola Jokic loves it. I mean, Nikola Jokic to the Aaron Gordon connection is one of the best connections in the modern NBA. But really, what I want to highlight in that quote that we just heard is the way he called Nikola Jokic the best player of all time. That may seem like a stretch to most casual NBA fans, but honestly, honest to God, it is not out of the question that Nikola Jokic is the best basketball player of all time. It may sound crazy because the conversation is always Michael Jordan and LeBron James. That's the conversation. It's not changing anytime soon, and I'm not going to change it anytime soon. But Nikola Jokic, he's one of the most complete basketball players of all time. I mean, you put him up against LeBron. LeBron hasn't been able to win since 2020 when they ended up beating the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. What's happened since then? Since then, we've seen a Western Conference Finals sweep leaning in favor of the Nuggets over the LeBron James-led Lakers. So yeah, Jokic made LeBron his son. And now we're talking about, oh, it's between these two? Jokic could end up being one of the best basketball players, if not the best basketball player in the world. And honestly, you really bring it into perspective. He's statistically more efficient than Wilt Chamberlain. And people think Wilt Chamberlain is a myth. They think that he's not real. The 100-point game doesn't exist to certain people. Oh, because there's no video of it. Wilt Chamberlain doesn't exist. Nikola Jokic is better than Wilt Chamberlain statistically in the player efficiency stats. Yeah, Nikola Jokic could end up being the best basketball player of the world, and it's great to see that his teammates know that, because imagine the security you feel as a player like Aaron Gordon. You're on the floor in clutch time against some of the best teams in the NBA, and you look to your left, and at the top of the key is the best basketball player in the world. I mean, I'm so serious. We are going to be getting ready for another parade in Denver this season, and it starts and it ends with Nikola Jokic. Now, that'll do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I do want to read some of your comments. Good morning, Joey. Good morning, Michael. Thanks for joining the show. Did bro not just bounce back from week one? No, he did. He had a better week 2 performance, Bo Nix did, than a week 1 performance. But we gotta be realistic here. 3 interceptions in your first 2 games is not good. And that's the end of the story there. 3 interceptions is not good. You know, he's only thrown 382 yards. Sure, he's got 4 touchdowns, but where was that to be found in the second half of this last game against the Colts. So you just got to look at it, take a step back and look. He could be showing the early signs of a sophomore slump. I don't believe that he is. I really do believe that Bo Nix has the ability to turn it on and he's going to bounce back real quick. But you just got to look at it from an outside standpoint and a different point of view. And it's not looking great. I'm not necessarily secure. We have to really see what this upcoming game against the Chargers looks like. I know I've got to see it before I make a real judgment call about sophomore slump. But even then, you can't see if a player has had a sophomore slump until the end of the year. Now, that'll do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I will be back with you guys again tomorrow. We've got more NFL football tomorrow. NFL football, Thursday, Sunday, Monday. I can't be any happier. I'm seriously like a pig in mud. I love it. Every single day we got something going on. And, of course, this Sunday, one of the bigger football games of the year for the Broncos, their first divisional matchup against the Chargers. How will it go? Will Bo Nix finally turn it up and look like he did last year? We will all see it. I'll be talking about that more tomorrow. But until then, y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye, y'all.